Welcome to Seeing Scarlet. It is Shelby. Back with us is Tyler from a few weeks ago. We're going to talk all about soccer, a lot of soccer in this. So just sit down and be happy with us, y'all. Stop with the sadness, Texas Tech Nation, because your Texas Tech soccer team is number 14 in the nation and playing for a Big 12 championship at home. At home on Friday. And you can be there and help them do it against a really tough opponent. So just be happy for the next hour and enjoy what we're going to talk about with soccer. Another big week, a clutch week, went 2-0 when they had to do it, and now they have a chance to come home like we talked about on Friday at 7 p.m. against BYU and secure at least a share of the Big 12 title. Be there. Softball, fall ball started. The new era of Texas Tech softball is big time in it, and we have some notes, some stats from that. Lady Raiders went to Media Day today. We have some clips from that. That was really cool, really fun. And then everything else that happened, football, volleyball, we'll touch on that at the end. But a lot of soccer to come in this episode because, again, your Red Raiders are playing for a chance at a Big 12 championship, back-to-back Big 12 championships on Friday. And Tyler himself, if y'all don't remember, he's a student at Texas Tech, but he works within the marketing department as an ambassador intern. I don't know what your official title is, but he knows all the fun stuff that's about to go down on Friday night at BYU or versus BYU at John Walker. So let them know what they can expect, what they can get. I think I saw some freebies.
Yes.
Give them the pitch.
Yes. Lots of freebies. All right, guys. There is a Big 12 title up for grabs at home on Friday night. You have your whole entire weekend in Lubbock planned. So first off, you're going to take off of work on Friday. You're going to get down and you're going to make sure that you're at the Walker by 6 o'clock when gates open. Why is that? Well, the first 500 fans will get a soccer scarf. And if you don't know, scarves are a huge thing in soccer. These have a great design. They have the Adidas logo on it. It says Texas Tech. It has Red Raiders. An awesome scarf. And make sure you're also wearing black because it's our blackout game. We need everybody in black. And we're also going to have pups at the pitch. So if you want to bring your dog to the game, you can scan the QR code on my page and you can bring your dog to the game. It's going to be a fun, exciting environment, and I started an initiative to get 3,000 fans at the game, so don't let me down. We're going to break 3,000. We're going to break the attendance record. So let's go.
Let's go. You get to bring your dog to the game. You can make history, watch history, maybe celebrate with some tortillas. Last year, the parents up in Iowa State smuggled some tortillas up to Ames, and they celebrated with tortillas instead of confetti at the Big 12 championship last year that they won. Something tells me they might show up in Lubbock too, but it's going to be a tough game. We'll break down BYU in a minute, but I always believe in our team. This team, yes. I believe they can go out there with anybody and beat anybody, and so it's going to be a great game. Yes, get there early. Also, speaking of BYU, they travel well. There's going to be some blue in that stadium. It's just going to happen. We don't want it to be too much blue. So get there early, secure your seats so they can maybe stand if that's what they want to do.
Right. Yeah, no, make them stand, get all your seats,
They're very nice
early.
People, love them.
Yes.
They'll be happy to stand. They might give you the seats anyway, just because they're that nice of humans, but there will be some. But we need to make sure we have, I guess, more black there if it's a blackout game.
Right, yes. Wear the black. Please, wear the black.
So, 7 p.m. on Friday. Get there early. You can tailgate. There's always a fun tailgating crowd at soccer. I'm sure it'll be a pretty decent group again for this one. The scarves are awesome. I got one last year. Someone graciously sent me one from last year's scarf giveaway game, and they're super soft. I should have brought it in here to show it. I'm sure it's the same one. It says like Red Raider Soccer on it. So you want the scarf. Trust me, it'll be great to wear to the postseason game, hopefully in a few weeks down the line at home as well. So that's that. We'll mention that game here in a bit after we recap what happened, because how did they get in this position, Tyler? It wasn't easy. They said, hey, you want another chance at a Big 12 title? Let's go on the road for 2 games. You got to win both of them. One of them at one of the best teams in the conference, West Virginia, which we now, because spoiler alert, we won. We now have a 16-game road Big 12 unbeaten streak going. The last time this team lost on the road in the Big 12 was 2021 to West Virginia. It's a hard place to play, and we overcome that in this trip with this team. You felt like they were gonna had a chance to win, but you knew it was gonna be a tough battle, and it was. I was a wee bit disappointed in that crowd, though. They usually have a good crowd, and there was nobody there. So it was cold. It was a little. There was people there, but just not the normal. Maybe they weren't on camera. I don't want to disparage
It says
them.
800, but
that was
we
not
don't know,
800.
right?
I need you as a marketing person to look into that. I need you to pull up West Virginia games and see if their crowds have always been empty. Because if you look at their attendance this year, because I did this a few weeks ago, because I was trying to see where Texas Tech ranked, they're always like 1,400, 1,300, 1,200. There was maybe 400 people there, but anyway, we're off topic. But I think there's something going on there with their attendance being juiced, but it's fine. No, it was cold, it was rainy. I'm sure their fans were just like, I'll watch it from home. It's okay. Our fans would have been there, but it's chill. We're West Texas tough, and the team was West Texas tough because they had to be in this one. It was. So we're gonna show you highlights, but it was a 1-0 win. We got a goal towards the end of the first half. Beautiful build-up. It was a PK that Peyton Parsons finished. Clutch. There's a lot of big defensive battles in this one. A major clutch save from Faith Dog win to really keep this from being a draw, probably because it was pretty late in the game when that happened. You'll see that clip. It's awesome. It's hard to save PKs, and she saved it pretty easily it looked like. But yeah, I thought it was just a really hard-fought game. Really impressed with them, and really happy with what they saw. Do you have any thoughts from it?
Yeah, no. I mean, last week, as a student athlete, what I'm thinking of is how hard of a week that has to be because West Virginia and Cincinnati are your most eastern teams in the Big 12. More than likely, you had to take a whole other day off of classes. You have to go on the road. The weather is not great. More than likely, there's not going to be a lot of red and black in the stands. So the tenacity that this group had to go 2-0 on the week, what can you say? It's a Tom Stone soccer squad. We knew we could do it. Yep, that's what they do.
Yeah, we have a clip from Tom after this game. I can just go ahead and show you this right now, and then we can show you the highlights. But he talks about that, the tenacity, and how they leaned on their defense in this game, and how it's always been a trademark of Texas Tech soccer. But we know how the beginning of the season started, right? We gave up 4 goals in the first game. People were missing in that game. We get it. We're a very different team. But since then, they've just slowly gotten their identity back with a new group, and they really leaned on their defense in this. So this is Tom Stone after the West Virginia win.
Place to get a win. It's a really hard place to get 3 points, especially given where we are and where they are in the standings. There was so much on the line for this game, a ton of pressure on both teams to perform well. And, as we've done for a lot of the second half of the year, we're just digging into our defense. We're leaning on our defense with some very opportunistic goals from Ashley and Z and Peyton today with the penalty. Our attack has been great, but we've leaned heavily on our defense to protect these leads. And Cassie Taylor and Molly and Peyton Annie came in late to play center back as well. Macy, PD, and Elise, they are just digging in, not to mention our holding mids. So you're going to be under pressure late in the game when you're protected a 1-goal lead. We were, but our defense came to play, and that's a great feeling.
You can always go into any fight. I think we said this in one of our recaps recently. You go into any fight, any game, feeling pretty confident when you have that back line plus Faith, the 4 people that are starting, the 2 that are coming off the bench and playing here or there, and then the whole team. It's team defense. But those 4, man, we have a clip. I have a clip in here of Cassie making a silly clearance that it looks like it's easy for her, but I think it's like off of her hip. Like, I don't even know how she did it, and she like dang near cleared it to like midfield. It wasn't just a little bit of a clear. I'm just, how did she do that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And her and Molly have really, especially, Cassie's been playing center back for 4 years now, basically, and Molly we've been playing midfield. And we bumped her back to center back, which I guess we talked about that before. Is something that she likes to play there. She likes that back line, but we needed her elsewhere. And ever since she's really slid into that role, we've started locking things down. And so much so that West Virginia, that's only the second time all season that they have not scored a goal. The first time all season that they were held scoreless during Big 12 play. They have a pretty opportunistic offense is what I would call them. They're very strong on set pieces, and in the beginning of this game, I don't know how much the highlights show of it, but They got like 6 corners in the first, very early in this game.
They did.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And you give a team like them that many corners, for most teams, that's not going to turn out well. But Taylor Strzeski, stepped up big time because she's tall in there. Tom talked about her after the game. She was kind of marking their main header, their main kind of set piece target in those, and she had some good clearances. Cassie, Molly, everybody in that box was ready for the fight. Of course, Faith was in there punching them out. She had a big punch out early. And then once we kind of got through that, we looked like the more dangerous team in run of play, in my opinion. Always take that for what it's worth. I'm not a soccer coach, but I thought we looked more dangerous in like run of play moments in the first half. But they certainly held more possession than we did in that first half, and they got a lot of good looks as far as corners, but we stopped them all. So that's just a credit to this team's defense, and they'll stay down there and fight and elbow and get space and get that ball out of there if that's what they need to do. And that was kind of the game.
No, I totally agree. But yeah, possession, it looks like they had us by just a little bit. But other than that, like our shots on target, our total shots, we all beat them in those stats. And Faith had an incredible game. So we're back at it. But it was a game of penalty kicks, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It came down to 2 very big penalty kicks that we'll show you here. First, we'll just go through the highlights, and unless I missed it, which is very possible, I didn't see like an official highlight package put out for this, so I pieced this together and tried to put it in order for you guys, so take it for what it is. I tried to put as many of the clips that I either clipped myself or found online together for this, because there were, even though it's a 1-0 game, there were a lot of really big moments in this, so let's just go through them. This is the first chance of the
Central.
game.
Giametta tries it. Smith saves it and holds on.
From Caitlin Giametta, who had a great week. Both of her games. She is playing some good soccer right now. Nice little drop off from Z here, who's been passing great. I mean, this is a nice shot. This is a good save.
Take another look at it.
Had to dive for it.
She did.
And that was the first shot on goal for either team.
Initially.
About 15 minutes in, that's just kind of the game it was. This is West Virginia. It's one of their more dangerous, like true run of play moments, I would say. A lot of them came from corners like we talked about. But this girl gets loose down the side, and Faith isn't concerned. Faith's got it.
Grinder. McCarthy, what do the Mountaineers have here? It's Wilson in the box. Wilson across, win saves.
Wow.
Also credit, I believe, I can't tell because they're so small on the screen I'm looking at now. Whoever that is, our defender, is probably either Cassie or Molly that went down there and made that a really tough angle shot because, you know, she was free, but by the time she got a good handle on that and took a shot, our defender, I mean, she could really only kick it right at Faith. So, again, team defense, it's what they do. Oh, okay. So, this is...
Good ball in.
Yeah, this is the build-up to the PK. That ball, first of all, we talked about this on our recap. We broke the whole thing down because this whole thing was ridiculous. This ball from Elise Anderson is perfect, right? You can see it in the air. And then I don't understand. This is where soccer players just amaze me, how they can dead the ball like this. Like, this is a round object moving. And not to mention it's a slick field because it was a little bit, it wasn't raining, but it was a little wet. And watch how Peyton Parsons just deads this ball on contact. Like, this first touch is just straight sorcery.
Back post. That's way.
I'm sorry, what?
Like,
It's like it just died.
I know.
Like, how did she, like, if I mean, first of all, I probably would have missed the ball if it was coming to me, but if I somehow got a foot on it, it definitely ain't doing that. It's like going backwards or something. So even in the best of players, that's just a great touch. And then she would have gotten a goal here probably, but this girl makes a dangerous but effective sliding desperate tackle to save it.
Touch, sliding in, cross and blocked by.
Watch Z here. This play is very important, but watch Z all the way from her spot in the middle of forward spot, sprints over there, forces this West Virginia player to rush her clearance, and we get the ball right back. And then freshman Peyton Dias, calm as ever, down to Chloe Soto, who was great in this game. Chloe Soto. And she gets it back over to Peyton. They have a little nice 1-2 moment. Gets it over to Story Sexton, who I don't know if it's intentional, but flicks it on over to Alana. And then our freshman, who's been a great passer, all year is surrounded by like 4 West Virginia defenders. Somehow she gets the ball through all of them to Z, who's was all the way over at the other side of the field, has now worked her way back to the middle of the field. That's how hard Taylor Strzelecki worked in this game, just constantly. Somehow, Alana Harry gets this ball through all of those people to Z.
Touched it down, they'll roll it in.
Wow.
Chance as the player goes down. Mackenzie Smith after it, still taken by Texas Tech.
A PK is awarded there, and Taylor almost got up and made the goal anyway, but PK is awarded.
Right.
And just a lot of strength from Z.
Not scored in 9 games. And she goes the right
Nothing.
way to give Texas Tech the lead.
Had the goalie fooled.
Yeah, it is. That shows you how hard it is to stop PKs, right? Even if you guess correctly, which we'll see in the next game, Texas Tech scores a PK from Peyton Parsons, who made this one. In the next game, we'll have highlights of, and that keeper guesses correctly, but it's still hard to get them when you do that because they can be hit. So if they're hit well, it's hard to stop them. And this one, she just had no chance. She just guessed wrong. And Peyton put it home. That was Peyton's 8th goal of the year.
A penalty to the Red Raiders and a lead for the visitors. Kurtzer with space to operate.
Oh, this is that clearance I was talking about. I guess because I made these highlights, I forgot I made them. So this is in here. Cassie Taylor is about to make a stupid clearance on this. This is the one I was talking about before.
Oh,
it like hits off her hip or something. I don't know. Maybe not. It hits off something weird, but you can see her kind of eking down in the middle of the play. They're about to get a cross off. Also, a really good job by Macy to stick here and make it stay with that defender at least enough to make it a. Cassie knew where this ball was going because, again, Macy took away the angle to do anything else with it. But watch this clearance by Cassie.
We'll use her speed down the line, put it in, across, and cleared by Texas
Like with
Tech.
her gut? I don't know how she.
Yeah,
she made it look so like normal. Like,
right.
I was just like, I had to rewind and watch it. I was like, did that just happen? Like, how did she hit that? She has, I guess, abs of steel because that thing went to midfield. That was crazy. Cassie Taylor does that.
Like hit her like
5 times,
crazy.
5 times a game. That's just what she does. She's a pro if she wants to be next year. Taylor Strzelecki, again, Z is right here. She's about to win us another free kick that we could have gone up 2-0 on. It was very close. You'll see the result of it. But again, Taylor was great in this game. She's been great. She was great in this game. She's really taken hold of that starter spot up top alongside Ashley Williams, and they're very physical. They're an imposing duo that the other team's announcers were even talking about both of them at the beginning of the game, a little bit worried that their defensive back line had not faced a duo of forwards that were that physical and that kind of strong and could both beat you with skill and speed, but also just straight up be stronger than you. And Z was that all game. Like, I think Tom said she played 90 minutes, which the way she played, it didn't look like it. Like she was playing full go the whole time. So this is her again. She wins us a free kick right outside the box.
Baylor for sure, sir.
Strzelecki.
Juke.
Fouled by Angleton. Not. Good save.
Whoa. So
that was
close.
a heck of a shot by Peyton Parsons. Yeah. She's got that.
She had to tip it
down, that free kick. Yeah, that was in unless the keeper saved it. So great shot by Peyton. So good stuff from Z and Peyton on that play. Narrowly, that would have made the game a lot less exciting. But hey, we still won anay. But we almost had it.
Z has been balling out. She's doing so good.
She's been so good. So good.
Like so good.
Oh, here it is. So we don't have the replay of the moment. I am totally biased. I admit this. But I don't think it was a penalty on Macy. I haven't gone back and rewatched it, so maybe it was. But live, it didn't look like... It looked like she got the ball. But in the way the game was going, I wasn't super shocked they called it because they had called a PK against the other team, so they're kind of like looking for any chance to even up the PK score there and give West Virginia 1-2. But I thought it was a little bit of a soft call. So is what it is, though. They get this PK chance, and they were just talking in the background on this, the broadcasters, that this girl had just made a PK or something in their last game. So she's stepping up there confident, but Faith was more confident.
Tie.
Oh, wow. Dog.
I think there's a long replay of this, so you can just enjoy it. But the game before this, I believe, the Sunday game with Iowa State, Macy Blackburn was quoted after the game talking about how Faith, when she joined Texas Tech from UCLA in the offseason, brought over, this is a stupid save, look at that, anyway, brought over this mantra with her. There's like, I got you, you got me, is kind of what the back line and Faith have just been preaching all year together, and you saw that come through right there. Like, Macy's the one that gives up the PK, whatever. I thought it was a good tackle, but whatever. They called it against her, so she gives that up. But Faith is like, no problem. I got you. And she goes out there and saves it. And this, again, is about midway through the second half or later, past that. If they make that, listen, I always believe in us. We'll probably go score. Maybe we would have gotten another goal. But it could have been a draw, and that could have been it for our title hopes, except for just we would have needed things to go in our favor kind of thing. So big time save right there. That'll be on the highlight reel when they win the Big 12 championship, as a moment that did it for them. Exactly. And then this coming up is a moment where we got gypped a little bit by the refs. Great run by, I think it's Bug and Macy down here, some great combo play. You'll see Macy get it across. It very much clearly hits this girl's hand in the box. So one, it should have been a handball. They missed that, and then they inexplicably give this ball to West Virginia on a goal kick. So we don't even get a corner out of it. But irregardless of all that, it's still a great play from Bug and Macy. And Z almost got her foot on it to put us up 2-0 at about the 14-minute mark.
The Mountaineers out of sorts a little. Blackburn. Across.
Oh, so close.
I don't know if it shows the other angle of it. I can't remember if I put it in there. But if it does, like, you'll see it bounce off of Z's foot into this girl's arm out of bounds.
Yeah. There's like two people there.
It certainly looked like that might be a possibility.
Yeah,
on that second
right off of her arm, out of bounds. At minimum, if you want to be like inadvertent, off the elbow, she wasn't trying, handball, we won't call it, fine. How was it off of us?
Right.
Like, anyway, so the whole thing was silly. But we survived it at least. Because there was a moment later in this that, again, Faith makes a really good tackle on, but it's right outside the box, and West Virginia felt like it should have been a free kick from right outside the box, so they could have gotten a good chance, but I thought it was a great play by Faith. A good tackle, a good tough West Texas tough tackle by Faith to save the game once again. But yeah, Faith was great. The whole team was great. It was one of my more enjoyable games of the year. I thought it was going to be going into it. I thought it was going to be good soccer, and it just was good soccer from both teams, really.
It was, it was excellent to see that we were able to get this one, Yeah, your Big 12 title chances are on the line, and I'm really glad that we were able to prevail through. It may not have been the offensive flashy one we wanted, but hey, our defense came up really, really big, so that's good. And also, it's good to see Peyton making them penalty kicks too, because that could be really beneficial come tournament play.
Yeah, I think she's 4 of 5 now in the season, because you'll see one in a minute. In Cincinnati, she gets another one. And we've seen Ashley get a PK. We've seen Peyton get some, and then we saw Faith obviously stop PK. And as me and Eric had talked about last week, Texas Tech tends to find themselves in penalty shootouts quite often in the postseason, so just a little warm-up for them. So it's good to see. I agree. Always nice to get that confidence going and get that together. So that was a big win at West Virginia. Again, that's a tough place to play. West Virginia came into that game right narrowly behind us and TCU in the standings. They were 6-1-1 going into that. We were 6-0-2 going into that, so they could have flipped right there with us in the standings, and we didn't allow that to happen. West Virginia went on 2 days later and took care of business against Colorado. I think they won 2-0 over Colorado at home.
Oh, wow.
So West Virginia's a good team. They're probably, I think they should be a postseason team, in my opinion. They could even be a host team in the postseason. If they host over us just because geography, I will have words. But sometimes that happens. I just don't see how they could be rewarded a host in the first round over us, because we beat them head-to-head, even if we're similar in RPI. We'll see how that goes. I just say geography because there's a lot of ACC and Big Ten teams, and they're going to need somewhere to send them. And it's a lot easier to send them to West Virginia than it is Lubbock. But that's a conversation for a few weeks. We need to take care of business the next couple of games to even have that opportunity. So, but I'll fight somebody if it comes to it. But I do think they'll be a postseason team. Moral of the story.
For sure. I agree.
And we just beat a postseason team again. So that was a big win. Good team. Yeah, it was just fun times, really. I love watching good soccer.
And even our non-con losses and our draws are not to bad teams at all. So
No.
that's just something that committee and everybody needs to keep in mind too. Like they're not bad losses or at all. Like we have not dropped anything to a subpar team. Like we've been able to take care of business. So I definitely think postseason wise, we should be good to go.
Yeah, I think we're in the postseason. I was just saying
Right.
to host a game, you got to be like a top 8 seed or whatever. So that's like the top 32. Which we're number 14 in the polls, but the polls really mean nothing. So like the committee does their own thing. So we'll see. But I think we're in a good spot, especially if we win on Friday. Definitely, they're not going to not have the Big 12 champ do that. But that's neither here nor there. This team loves to play on the road, as we'll see. We saw in West Virginia and Cincy. If they get put on the road, they'll be fine. Our fans would just miss out on it. So.
We'll just get a bus, and we'll just bus them all.
Yeah,
I don't know if we have the
like
budget
that.
for it, but we're just going to bus Lubbock, the city of Lubbock over there.
To wherever they are.
Right, yes.
Going
We'll
to
just
like
figure
California or something. I love it.
It's all West Texas.
It's all West Texas. That's true. So it's everywhere. So it's fair. So yeah, that was West Virginia. You've already seen the clip from Tom. So big win, and then they have to recover from a very physical game. Get up the next day, recover. At some point, they have to buy bus. Probably, I don't know, how 5-hour bus ride probably from Morgantown to Cincinnati, Ohio. It's not super close, but it was a bus trip that they had to take. So you're doing that while you're recovering. It's not exactly ideal for recovery to be cramped up in a bus. It's a road trip that has tripped up a lot of Texas Tech teams. We kind of talked about that last week, that you're going to see volleyball on that road trip this week. We always seem to go and play those teams right back to back for travel reasons. It has tended to be tough for teams, but Texas Tech soccer, as I think we have a clip after the next game, Cincinnati, him talking about that. They just like each other. They actually enjoy the bus rides, so that helps. So I'll take it. They go to Cincinnati, y'all, and Cincinnati they were fighting. I don't know. They're probably 9th or 10th in the conference coming into this game. I think they are going to be a really good team in a few years in the Big 12 once they recruit to it. I like the way they play. They're very different to me than like Iowa State. Like I can see the future for Cincinnati being a good team with the way they're playing. Their playing style. They're trying to get there. They just need to get the players in there, but they still have some really good players. I think her last name Flowers was really good in this. She created some real dangerous chances in this, and our back line said no. But against a lot of teams, I think she would have scored in those situations. But ultimately, we win this one 3-0. Tied for the most goals that Cincinnati has allowed all year. They've only allowed 3 goals one other time this year to Arizona State. Every other time it's been 1 or 2 goals. Typically their defense has been pretty decent to solid, and we were able to squeak past 3 goals against them, which was big. It's also the most goals we have scored in the Big 12 this year. We had a bunch of 2-0 games, but this was the first 3-0 Big 12 win. So that's nice to finish off the road season going into a BYU game where you might need some goals. So that was good to see. And a lot of people were really good. Bug is really good. Caitlin Giametta, again, on one this week. You'll see a bunch of clips from her.
For sure.
Z, again, was a menace in this. Ashley Williams has a nice pass in this to set up the PK. Parsons gets the PK. Molly Krasinski was big time in this defensively. Had a number of key stops. Everybody had really good moments in this game overall.
We did. Also, we manifested the 3-0 game. We were
did.
texting about it. We were
messaging, and we were like, a nice 3-0 game. Although we didn't get the last 2 goals till the final 2 minutes, so it wasn't exactly a nice breezy 3-0 game, but hey.
It's still 3-0.
It looks good in the end.
You're right.
But yeah, I think this might have been one of our more efficient shot games. I think you have the box score up, but I want to say we had like 9 shots and 7 of them maybe were on goal. So pretty much all the shots we were getting off were on frame, which was good. We just looked sharp in this game for the most part when we were attacking. There was a little bit of a lull in the middle there, but there might have been some contributing factors to that. Chloe Soto did leave that game with an injury, but we don't know the status of it. But I say that because she's been playing a lot lately, so they had to bring in other people, and maybe that was part of it. But in her place, Kate Leibel played quite a bit in the second half, like 40-something minutes, and I thought she did her job. She went in there and did her job, and and it was important minutes. We were only up 1-0, and so to go in there and play holding mid, defensive mid, it was really cool to see her get her opportunity. Just another example of this team late in the season, someone that getting to go in there and play some of their bigger minutes of the year. So shout out her. Again, Molly, Cassie, Faith didn't have a lot of action, but when she did, she stopped them. Macy and Elise were creating a lot of moments. Didn't end in a goal, but they were doing some good stuff. But you'll see in the highlights. But there was a lot of good moments, obviously, and a really fun story with the Peyton Parsons celebration video that I have in here, the baseball celebration.
Oh, yes.
Her family member tipped me off that there was a backstory to that, so I'll tell that story when we get to it. But a lot of fun stuff happened in this game. So let's show the highlights if I can find them. Da-da-da. These are actually from the TV broadcast.
Unbeaten over their last 26 regular season conference matches. Beat West Virginia on the road.
Do-do-do.
The Red Raiders take on Cincinnati as they celebrate their senior day. And now Parsons
on the turf field
to Z. Look at this patience,
Virginia on the road.
Taylor.
A little bit of room for Strzezinski. She gives it off. Giametta buries it.
Dang. Way to go, Bug.
Little trademark fist pump.
And a high-class goal for
that was so easy. She makes it look so easy.
She does make it look so easy. She made everything look so easy. We have some moments in this. She was schooling people. She has a Meg in this. She went between someone's legs. She was on one in this. So shout out Caitlin, her 5th goal of the year. Career high for her. Also Z's 4th assist of the year. Again, Taylor Strzezinski was involved in all 4 of our goals this week. She assisted on this one. She got a goal you'll see later, and she earned 2 PKs. Just straight menace level stuff from Taylor.
Wow, right in the middle.
Placement for her.
Pretty stuff.
It's almost pick your poison, isn't it, with Texas Tech?
Gosh, she's playing so good. That's like the fun of this team is I really don't know what ceiling to put on them because there's so many players having breakout seasons. Like those 2 that combined on that goal, all 3 of the people that combined on that goal, Peyton Parsons, Taylor Strzezinski, and Caitlin Giametta. If there was an award for breakout player of the year in Big 12, all 3 of them would be under consideration, and they're all on our team. And so that makes it like really hard to know what the ceiling is, and that's kind of cool, right? It's been that way all year. It's like these people are having their best years yet, and they just keep getting better. Like Caitlin and Z especially have just been the last couple of weeks. Both of them have been so good, and I'm like, let's go. So it's been fun to watch their progression for sure.
They are doing the dang thing.
They are doing the dang thing.
Williams, one-timers.
I don't know how Ashley didn't make that. That was a spectacular save by the Cincy. That was a great shot by Ashley. Could have been up 2-0 early. But yeah, credit to the Cincy keeper for stopping that.
By Rexford. Down to one knee, had 12. Hasn't scored.
This is another chance
this year, but still 5 on the season.
for Bug inside. She shoots it a little higher on that one. That was one of our off-frame shots, but she just kept getting herself in good spots. I think they were so preoccupied with Ashley and Z that they were just letting Bug run free. And if teams are going to do that, boy howdy, let her go to work. I'm here for it.
Right.
You don't want to leave her running free.
The announcers were even talking about come the second half that because Cincinnati was just so focused on Ashley, we ended up subbing Ashley out, and it threw Cincinnati off like big time when it came to that. So that was something to pick up on.
Yeah. I think that actually throws other teams off a lot. That's like a typical substitution pattern for Texas Tech if you watch them. I'm sure it doesn't actually throw the other team off because they probably know that, but the broadcasters, it always throws them off because Ashley a lot of times will sit at the end of the first half and then sit at the beginning of the second half so she can be fresh for the end. But yeah, I remember them talking about that. They were like, I feel like it's like throwing our defenders off. It might have been. I would hope that they were prepared for that because that's pretty normal of us. But yeah, you bring in some other people and they have to change up their defensive assignments for sure.
A bid for her second.
I think there's another chance for Caitlin coming up next that she almost finishes. She could have had a hat trick in the first half. I'm not even kidding. That's how she was constantly getting open.
That's a good shot.
Like if she just got that over a little bit, it just went right in the middle. But
shot Giametta, another bid for her second.
Those were right back to back.
With so much space there, elapsed defensively for the Bearcats.
Great. I mean, Macy was great. As always.
Blackburn. Giametta looks like she's unmarked there in the penalty box.
With 3 around her. Everybody tables right back.
Real quick,
great assist.
this one wasn't in the highlights, so I want to show it. I don't have both of her dipsy-do, make them look silly moments, but this was one of them. She megged this girl. This is Caitlin out on the outside.
Aussie plays it to the outside. Here's
A little
Giametta
hezzy and goes right between her
working
legs.
on Joffrey.
Whoop.
Again, they try to that double team. Giametta breaks it back post.
The short replay.
Good idea.
I think that was Alana
Just
Harry
couldn't get
sliding
there.
through, at the end,
Harry
almost poked it in.
Had some disruptions in front of her.
But Bugs deserves her shine. Watch her, like, just
A great
play with
little
this girl.
build up by
through her
Giametta.
legs.
Gets back
Yeah.
behind Emma Joffrey on that right side of the field. Goes right through the middle of her legs with a good, dangerous.
So she had another moment where she, like, 360'd it. This is the very end of the first half. One of the few moments Faith needed to step up. But she handles this save here pretty cleanly.
Tough angle shot, and it dribbles in on Wynn. One of the first times she's been called into action.
So this is the PK, but the build-up wasn't in here either, so I'm going to put these. This is how the PK happens. Again, this is what we were talking about. By this point in the second half, they had put Ashley back into the game. She had just come back into the game. We were on 1-0, and her and Taylor do what they've been doing of late, where they've just teamed up and just been just annoying at the top as forwards, and they both press these players into a turnover, and then Ashley just quickly taps it over to Z, who gets, for the second straight game, just tackled to the ground, because what else do you do with her? She's so strong.
Right.
And earns the PK, but this is how it happens. So credit Ashley Williams and Taylor both on this play.
Pressure right on Schmelzer.
Good pressure.
Williams
Nice
wins it.
touch.
Sturjeski. Over to Williams. That's going to be a PK. Sturjeski.
I really love how the player was like, "What did I do?" I'm like, "You
I know.
literally tackled her."
Just,
the West
yeah,
Virginia
on top
game
of her.
one, I still think the one in West Virginia was a PK, but that girl had more of a case. This girl straight just tackled
know,
her.
just
It's like, what are you
woof
talking
over her.
about? Like, she
Insane.
literally just a football tackled her. But anyway, so that's how it happened. Once again, Z involved in setting up Peyton Parsons for a PK. And this is one we were talking about earlier. The keeper guesses correctly, but this is why Peyton Parsons is your preferred PK taker, because she just put it in a spot with such pace that she can't stop it anyway.
Parsons this season 3 of 4 in penalty situations. The breathing room that Czech needed.
Can't do it.
Now
Beautiful.
a 2-0 advantage. Off
We'll
the
take
foot
that.
of the player who last year had the decisive PK in the win against Princeton in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, wow. She was the one that got it against Princeton? That's cool.
She was. That was fun facts. That was her first career goal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and now she's scored 9 this year. So talk about a breakout year. But yeah, her first career goal was the game winner against Princeton to send us to the Sweet 16. So she's clutch in that
cool.
way. Ice in those veins. And then she's about to see this celebration here. I'll let you watch it.
Consecutive games for the Raiders and a celebration to boot.
This is coming from one of her family members, so I didn't confirm it with Peyton. But they're telling me that her brother, who is her idol, I believe is what she put on her Texas Tech like media packet thing. They also sent me a screenshot of that her brother is like her role model in life, her idol. First time he's gotten to see her play, at least this year, maybe ever in college, because he played baseball for Air Force. And so he got to go to this game. He was in there in person at this game, and he played baseball. The legend is that celebration was towards her brother in the stands. Her dad was there, I believe, as well. So that's what the fam told me. That's what they said on the social media, on Twitter, I think. So fun story about her, but I thought that was cool. I thought it was a funny celebration anyway. Like, I was like, you haven't seen her do that all year, so I was like, oh, that's cool, showing a little fun out there. And then it turns out that's why. So good for her. I always like to see them score when their family's in town. Just show you the replay. Just perfectly placed.
Finish there by
The goalie's like reaching for it.
Yeah, you're not gonna stop it unless she, I guess, jumped before she even kicked it.
Right.
Some space.
And then this is Taylor Sturjeski getting her 7th goal of the year. We were definitely running the clock out here, but she spun into the box and she's like, oh, snap. I think it might have just been like a muscle memory thing. You know, she's just a trained goal scorer. And she gets in there and she sees this space and she's like, okay. And it's not an easy goal. Like, there's not a very big window. And she squeaks it through there for a nice third goal at the end of the game.
Sturjeski wiggles it by.
Wow.
They'll show the back angle, I think, and it's a pretty impressive goal.
They'll take their chances if they get them.
They'll take their chances if they get them.
Taylor Sturjeski capitalizes.
Sorry, keeper.
Content with just milking the timer out. But for a player of her caliber,
I think they're going to show the replay.
Why not take it if the
we're in the corner on it, but.
And I think Cincinnati was just so overloaded in that corner.
That's wow.
Like how she loads up so quick on that. Watch her load.
Well, we're able to.
Okay.
The goalie looks like she slipped on a banana.
yeah, she tried. I don't know what you can do in that situation. So yeah, that's what she does.
Closing off that angle, but she still finds the far post.
Big time stuff. And that was the end of the game. We posted a clip on our Twitter. You can go find it, where this broadcast crew is very complimentary of Texas Tech soccer. And sometimes I think our fans can be a little spoiled, a little ungrateful. They don't realize what they have sometimes. And they put it into perspective real quick for anyone that was thinking that. They were just talking about how good Texas Tech is. They were like just happy. The whole game, they're like, it's just so cool that we can have a program like this come to our stadium and play against us and have our friends, all this. Like, that's the level that Texas Tech soccer's at. Like, people look at them in a little bit in awe in the Big 12 for what they're doing, and they just had a lot of nice things to say about the program, which is true. So especially this year with everything they've overcome, with the injuries and all the things that some people, anyone that's watching our show knows that, so we don't really need to get into it in depth, but a lot of people don't realize the injuries and all that they've overcome to be in this position, and that's just who they are. And Tom kind of talked about this. This is kind of a longer clip. It's about 2 minutes long, so I'm just gonna take a snack break and let y'all listen to it. But it's basically the full presser media with Tom after the game. He talks about a few things in this. He talks about to start it. He just talks about how they're winning on the road and why they do that. And then by the end of it, he's gonna give you a little bit of a preview of the BYU game.
You know, I really think 5-day road trips are a challenge for most teams in college soccer. But as I've said many times before, this team just really likes to be together. They enjoy the hotel, they enjoy the bus, they enjoy the travel. The freshman class is the loudest one we've ever had. I mean, they are always up to something. So they just make the road fun. I mean, we were kind of stuck inside our hotel with this huge festival going on around us, you know, in downtown Cincinnati, so we couldn't really wander about as much as normal. And they didn't care. They were fine with it, getting their homework done, hanging out, doing their thing, and that just makes it so palatable for a 5-day trip like this one. You know, we've talked all year that when we get a goal lead, we cannot take our foot off the gas. And the couple of times that we have, it's cost us. And so at halftime, we're like, we have a 1-goal lead. Why are we slowing down? We think the clock's just going to run out. It's not just going to run out. You got to put them away. And the attack that led to Z getting taken down so Peyton could put away her PK was example of that. And then, you know, we were going to the corner, let's be honest. We were just trying to kill the clock at the end of the game. But when Z got the ball, she looked up. There's nobody between her and the keeper. So I think I was saying, don't do it the whole way till she did it. So good for her. She took it upon herself to put the game away. And that third goal was magic. I mean, it's a tribute to how hard the team has played. It's really just another regular season game. But the way it's worked out, it's the crucial points, you know, to give us a chance. And we don't talk about it during the season. We don't talk about the Big 12. We just talk about trying to be a good November team. But, man, I mean, once you're staring at it and it's right there in front of you, then, of course, we're going to talk about it and focus on it this week and try to be a team that can close out the season, you know, with a win. And if we do, then it'll be a great celebration. I mean, the idea that we can play this at home in our place is exciting. The fact that it's BYU is a little concerning because they're awesome. But it's just going to be a great night for our fans, great night for our program, and we're proud of the girls for putting ourselves in this position. The team's been through a lot, and obviously we're not done yet, and we still have another game to win if we want to celebrate. But super excited for the opportunity to play in front of our fans in such a big occasion.
Good stuff. That's Tom Stone after the game, talking about everything, really, about that game, about what they've earned and what's ahead. And what's ahead is BYU at home. We're not going against BYU for the Big 12 championship like we were this time last year. They came down to the final game of the season as well. But this time, it's between us and TCU. TCU is on the road at Oklahoma State. We are at home against BYU. Those are both really, really good soccer matchups, really good games. BYU has had, talked about it before in here, they've had a little bit of an unusual year for BYU. They're still projected to make the postseason as long as they don't kind of crash and burn in the Big 12 tournament. I don't know if that's true, but I've seen the latest projection I saw still had them in there. But that's just because their record is a little bit misleading because they played the number one hardest non-con schedule in the country. They have a top 10 strength of schedule in the country, and they played like UCLA and Arkansas and all the top teams in the non-con. And similar to us, it was a bit of a transition year for them where they lost a lot of important seniors. And so I think it just kind of jolted their confidence, hurt their confidence a little bit early in the year. But once they've gotten into the Big 12 play, they're playing really well right now. Their offense is metrically, I have no idea what it is NCAA leaderboard wise, but that doesn't matter. When you factor in like with the metrics compared to who they've actually played and who they've been doing it against and all those things, their offense is number 10 in the country.
Wow.
That's what they
Classic
do.
BYU.
They just score goals. They're going to score goals. Hopefully not against us, but they score goals. They're coming in. Right. They've scored 3 goals in each of their last 2 games against Baylor, and then last night against Houston was a 3-0 win against Houston. They tied Baylor 3-3 in a bit of a wild one. But that's kind of been their thing this year is they've been susceptible to giving up some cheap goals, I would call it. They just haven't been as organized on the back end as they usually are, just because they lost some important players there, and they've been trying to regroup. But it's still BYU. They're one of the best programs, and certainly in this last decade in college women's soccer. They were in the Final Four of the College Cup last year, which is the Final Four for soccer, and then 2-3 years ago they were in the national championship game. So they just have that culture. They're similar to what we talked about with West Virginia. Their coach has been there forever, 30 years, I believe. Wow. Started the program, still running it today. So they're, Texas Tech's the same way. That's why it should be a really great display of soccer on Friday.
It should be a great match.
Both teams have pro players out there. Both teams have elite players on both ends, defensively, offensively, midfield. It's going to be fun. And BYU, they're just an offensive team. I don't know, I have to pull it up real fast, but I believe they lead the Big 12 in corners by like a good margin. Yeah, like overall they have 126 corners, but in Big 12 play they have 84 corners. The next highest team is West Virginia, who we just played, and we saw that. They had 6 early ones. Their next highest at 69. So if you let them, and I don't even know if let's the right word, they just like to live down there and you're 18 and they're going to get corners off and they're really skilled. So when they do get them off, when there's those scrums, they have Allie Fryer, I believe is her name, one of the top goal scorers in the conference. Yep. That ball's at her feet in the box. She's going to finish it more times than not. So that's just what they do. They're very skilled. They're a very good team. They're one of the most talented teams in the conference in the country. It's going to be good soccer. I wish there was nothing on the line so I could just be like, let's just go watch some good soccer. But of course, we're like, you need a win to win the Big 12, so I'll be nervous as heck. But I don't think our team should be. There's a message that just came in on Facebook saying, man, that's a lot of pressure on us to go out there and win that game. And I don't think it's pressure. One,
it is either.
If you've watched our show, I don't believe that pressure is a thing. I don't think pressure exists in sports as a feeling. I think pressure exists in sports as an action. You can go out there and pressure people on the field, but this is not a life or death situation. So as long as they're not interpreting it as pressure, I personally don't, I would be shocked if they're not feeling butterflies and goosebumps and all these things that this lady's saying on Facebook. That's all true, but that doesn't mean it's pressure. To me, they should be feeling that because they're excited and they're proud of what they've done. People didn't expect them to be here a couple months ago or a few weeks ago. Everyone was expecting them, not everyone, outsiders. We all believed in them. They believed in themselves, but national heads thought they were going to lose eventually, right? They dug themselves out of that hole. yeah, they should be feeling goosebumps. They should be feeling a little antsy and all those things. But it's not pressure. It's not stress. Like, as long as they're interpreting that for what it is, that's just excitement. That's just pride. Like, they should be so proud that they put themselves in this spot. You kind of heard Tom Stone say that. Like, they're just proud that the girls had gotten them here, and they have. Like, I'm proud of them. Like, this is just really cool that they put themselves in this spot. They're not going to be happy with just doing that. Like, this team's going to go out there and fight like hell to win a Big 12 championship. But yeah, I don't know that I would call it pressure. I don't believe pressure is a thing in sports as far as a feeling. Personal sports psychology belief there. But as long as they interpret it properly, yeah, I think it's just excitement. But yeah, they're definitely, Kathy over on Facebook, they're definitely feeling butterflies right now. But that's a good thing. That's like excitement and anticipation, not necessarily pressure or stress, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think that one of the things that was important from Tom's interview was talking about how in Cincinnati, how he told them at halftime, like, you know, hey, we know we're up 1-0, but we can't like fall back and relax a bit. Like, you need to go after that second goal. We need to be aggressive. We need to lock in defensively. We can't get stuck in a draw situation. And I just feel like, honestly, BYU could be close, or we may just go lights out. Like, we just may just score a bunch of goals and just like, yeah, let's manifest it. Because they're just, I mean, we're just incredible. And I think mentally our girls, they know what's on the line, especially our seniors. They know what's on the line. So I think it's going to be a really great matchup down in Lubbock on a Friday night. So y'all be there.
Yeah, it's great soccer. I was excited for this one when the schedule came out. I was like, man, that's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. I almost booked a flight to go, but couldn't do it. You know, unfortunately, adulting sometimes gets in the way. I am jealous of you students, Tyler. You can just go to all the sporting events you want to, but I'll be watching from here. But yeah, they're a good team. They're very offensive minded. They're very tactical. Y'all watch the game we watched last year at BYU. It could be a similar game. High intensity. We're going to have 3,000 people there.
We are.
Manifest
3,000 strong.
3,000 people are going to be there. Y'all are going to break. You're going to make history for this team.
We are.
Be nice to the BYU fans that are there, but definitely have way more than them. Surround the field, tailgate, all the things. And how often do you get to watch your team potentially celebrate a Big 12 championship in front of you?
It's a big deal. It's going to be a big deal for our program, and I think we can pull it out. It's going to be a really great game, and I think that also, you come down, you can make a weekend out of it. I mean, hotel prices are like half the price because football isn't in town, so you can go to a watch party Saturday for football. So just make it a whole weekend, but please come to a soccer game.
That's a true marketing. It's a true marketing right there. Make a whole weekend.
Just be there.
He's working for Lubbock. He's going to visit Lubbock now. Just come in.
Yeah.
Go to the museums. I know. I love that.
All.
Yeah.
Do it all. Make it a whole weekend.
Yeah. It's not a bad plan. Make it a whole weekend. I think it might be. If you want to get there early, we'll talk about it in a minute. You can get there early and check out another sport. Softball plays on Thursday, but it's in the middle of the day, so that might not work. But if you do get there early, you can check out softball too. But yeah, that's a great plan. Y'all be there in place of me. In fact, if anyone wants to go to this game and they're like, just can't afford it, I'm not even kidding. Reach out and the ticket that I would have bought for myself, I will buy for you. If that for some reason is holding anybody out, just let me know. But I think it's going to be a really big crowd. I hope it's over 3,000. I love that. I hope a lot of students come. I hope they're respectful, but I hope they're rowdy, and I hope they help this team get that dub, because it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them celebrate everything that they've overcome. Like, it's such a cool story. No matter what happens, it's already a cool story. They're going to be in the postseason and all those things, but it'd be cool. So, shout out soccer.
Back-to-back champions.
Manifest
it. Red Raider Outfitter. You better start making the shirts now.
Yeah, get those shirts ready. Yeah, they took forever last time. I mean, I don't know how they caught them off guard or whatever, but shouldn't be catching you off guard this time. But yeah, like Catherine says in the comments, sounds like a good plan. Lights out. I'll be there. Yeah, she's a Clutch fan. She became a big soccer fan last year. She knows all the rules now, don't you? So you got to hold it down for us since we can't be there to tailgate, sad face. But I do believe Sibby is back in the country now. She'll be back on the show next week. So she'll be able to hopefully watch on normal time and celebrate with everybody. But cool. All right, so what else happens this week? We just kind of teased it. Softball happened. So that's really exciting. Again, if you do get to town earlier, you can go to softball, fall ball, which usually we don't talk about softball, fall ball a lot on the show, but it's kind of a new era of Texas Tech softball. And a lot of really exciting things are happening with that program. If you somehow lived under a rock and missed it, we have a new coach, one of the best college softball coaches to ever do it, is now the coach, and Jerry Glasgow, and he brought in the number one transfer class in the country with the number one player in the country, and Nyjah Kennedy came over along with a lot of other players, Alana Johnson, Alexa Langoliers, Chloe Riasetto, all these people came over and then to join the returners that we had from last year, plus the number one or the number two recruiting class in the country for the freshmen who had a good weekends. A lot of them had a good weekend in fall ball. So yeah, that happened. They played 2 games this past weekend against Odessa College. This is kind of normal for fall ball. You don't play. I do think Odessa College was in the Junior College World Series last year. So as far as JUCO teams go, they're not bad. They have players that will probably be playing Division I softball next year somewhere when they transfer out. But still, that's just competition is what it is. But the numbers they were putting up were stupid. The first game, they played 10 innings because, again, fall ball is weird. But they played 10 innings and they allowed only 1 hit across 4 different pitchers that came in. They allowed 1 single hit the whole game, and they struck out 17 as a group. Chloe Riasetto went 4 innings. She did allow 1 hit with 4 strikeouts. Then Nyjah came in, 3 clean innings, perfect innings, no walks, no hits. 8 of her 9 batters faced, she struck out. Whoever that one person who it was probably went back at the dugout feeling so proud of themselves that they made contact. Then the freshman came in, local freshman. We're going to call her Lubbock native. She was born in Lubbock, spent part of her childhood in Lubbock. Brinley Gonzalez. Then she went over to Aledo, I believe. I think it's Aledo. Somewhere else for her high school time. So she played high school ball elsewhere, but she is a Lubbock native. Came back to Texas Tech. She's a freshman. She had her debut. And she was a little shaky in her first batter, is what I heard. She walked her first ever batter. And then after that, she shut him down. She pitched 2 innings, 5 strikeouts in her 10 innings. So that's 5 of her 6 outs were strikeouts from the freshman.
Dang.
And then another freshman came in, Bailey Lindemuth, who also played third base during this game. She can pitch as well. She pitched 1 clean inning, no hits, no walks, no strikeouts. They were all in play, but she took care of business. So that was the pitching. Pitching was very dominant in that game. As you can tell, they won 16-0 and 15 hits to 1 hit. Logan Holloman, returner, was 3 for 4 with 3 runs, 2 RBI. She's still fast, y'all, if you're wondering from last year. Haley Toney, another star freshman, shortstop.
She was a star.
I've heard she's going to be very good at softball. I've been hearing about her for 2 years now, so it's nice that she's finally here and playing. I've heard her footwork defensively is just great to watch, so I can't wait to watch it in person. It's hard to predict a freshman starting for you, especially at shortstop, but it feels like she's on her way to be our starting shortstop even as a true freshman. She went 3 for 4 with a run scored and 4 RBI, casual, including a double. And then, oh, by the way, Nyjah Kennedy can hit as well. So she in this game went 1 for 2 with a double, 3 RBI, and 1 run scored.
Dang.
Yeah, she didn't
she
get
wanted
to
to hit.
Yeah,
Jerry
that's
said,
part of the reason we got her
hit.
was she wanted to go somewhere that would let her hit because they didn't let her do that as much as she wanted at Stanford. She's going to hit for Texas Tech, and she can hit. So we'll see how much she ends up doing it or not as the season goes, but she hit in both of these games. That was game 1. Game 2, Nyjah at the plate was 3 for 4 in game 2 with 4 runs scored. She also had a double. Reagan Jennings, another returner, was good in this game. 3 for 5 in this game with a couple RBI, a double, a stolen base. And Alana Johnson, another one of the big transfers. 3 for 5, 2 RBI, 2 runs, a double, stolen base. A lot of people had good days at the plate, but those are just the highlights. And then Nyjah pitched 4 perfect innings with 10 strikeouts. So if you're doing the math there, she's pitched 7 innings on the weekend, didn't allow a hit, didn't allow a walk, and struck out 18.
Crazy. But that's Nisha for you. That's Nisha for you.
That is. He struck out 18 of the 21 batters faced. Brindley came in. She gave up a hit in this one, gave up a run in this one, but had 2 innings. Chloe came in also, scoreless 3 innings, and then Bailey finished it out. She got hit a little bit, but that's good for the freshman to get in there and get her first experience of getting hit around a little bit and bounce back. She'll be fine. She's going to be a good player. But she also played third base, I think, in both games, and I heard she looked really good defensively too. So we might could have 2 freshmen. I don't know. I think Katie Lott's going to get some time at third, but we could have 2 freshmen, third and shortstop, for part of the year at different times. So future is bright. There's your fall ball report.
Yes, I heard that they think there's about 300 fans there on Sunday, so people are showing up to watch. Yeah, to
I
watch
heard it was
the squad.
a pretty good crowd on Saturday that came over after the football game too. So that was good to see. But yeah, I believe they play Thursday against LCU. I think it's an afternoon game. Is that right? No, it's not. So. It's 6 p.m. So it's a night game.
6 p.m.
They play. I think that's their only game of the week, and then they will play next week at LCU on Halloween.
Well,
and then they have
Halloween plans.
Just over the next few weeks, they're spread about, and then they have another one against Garden City, and then they have a bunch of red and black games, which those are really fun to see, the inter-squad scrimmages. In a lot of ways, those are the most competitive because they're going to be playing against fellow Big 12 talent. So you're going to see Nija pitching against Alana, right? That's the matchup you really want to see. So in a lot of ways, late November, those are some games you're going to want to go to. Those are going to be really, really intense games when we're playing each other.
Exactly. And we have to play like these teams like LCU, Odessa, because, you may see that like down south, like, A&M and Texas can play each other, but within a radius for fall ball travel, we don't have much out here. So, but yeah, y'all take in all the games and enjoy it, and then we'll get ready to see this team ball out in the spring. So very exciting stuff from softball. Very proud.
Yep. They're doing the damn thing. And then also getting ready to do the damn thing is basketball. The Lady Raiders had Media Day today. A lot of great clips came from that. Senior Jordan Merritt, and then juniors Bailey Maupin and Jazz Shavers. They grew up so fast, Tyler. Remember, they were just little sophomores. Now they look like little they're leaders up there. I was so proud of them from afar. It was good. So I thought all 3 of them handled themselves great. They were great ambassadors for the program, and Coach Gerlich obviously was there as well. And this is a clip from Coach Gerlich during their media availability.
We are deeper, we are stronger, we are more athletic, we're bigger in every position. And I think that depth is really going to help us sustain the grind of the Big 12, but also even through injuries. I think now if we do have a couple of injuries along the season, we have other kids that can step up and still fulfill those roles.
That's it. That's what we've been hearing all off season. And they keep saying that, so that tells me the fall practice and summer has gone well. And I've heard that a lot, that it's been a really good summer, that a lot of players are in the best shape they've ever been. A lot of players have gotten stronger. A lot of players have gotten faster. They asked Bailey what she wanted to be better at this year, and I think the announcer, the panelist or whatever that was on stage leading that was probably expecting something like, I want to, passing or screening or dribbling or some like basketball action. And Bailey said, I worked on getting stronger, faster, and just overall better in the offseason. So if Bailey Maupin is stronger and faster, good luck. LOL. Right. Stronger, faster, and playing her preferred shooting guard position instead of graciously playing point guard like she did last year. But she can move over there and do it if we need her to. But yeah, good stuff. And then Jazzy was great. We posted a clip about all 3 of them talking about how women's sports has grown, and I thought they gave such great answers. They were great. But you can find all that stuff. I think Texas Tech, right before we started, I saw it on YouTube. I think they posted every single segment in full on the Texas Tech Athletic YouTube page, so you can see the full interview with that whole group on stage. Excuse me. And then Jazz Shavers did a one-on-one interview with someone from the Big 12 media days. It was a great interview, of course, with her and that. She talks a lot about the team, how that practices are really intense and that they're going at each other, and that they're learning this year how to be able to take criticism from their teammates and know that, hey, like, they have my back. They're just trying to help me. They're just trying to help me get better.
Good.
And then we're going to go at each other in practice. But then when game day gets here, we're playing someone else. Now we can all 15 turn and go at the other person because we've been going so hard at each other and trying to make each other better, and not taking things personally kind of vibe. So the team chemistry seems really high, which is great because I think
it really does.
Gerlich talks about that. I think you watched the interviews. I think she talks about that in one of her availabilities in this, and that was good to hear because I'd say that's 50% of it, if not more, is how well the team gels. And you see that with soccer. They talk about that all the time. Tom Stone talked about that in his clip that we showed, the chemistry and how much they enjoy being around each other. And that takes time. That takes time to build a culture and a program. And we're going into year 5 now for Gerlich. So it makes sense that we're starting to get that kind of culture and that kind of vibes where you've had players in the program long enough. They can kind of just carry that over to the next year instead of having to teach a whole new group that thing again.
Right.
So yeah, that was good to hear.
Yeah, no. Even at volleyball games and whenever I have the chance to see the team, the girls, they just look so happy. They're always like, meshed in their little groups together. And then actually Saturday they were throwing T-shirts at the football game.
Okay.
So yeah, I saw Coach Gerlich walk by and I was like, oh, Coach Gerlich, and she waved back. So the team, they're out there, they're doing things, but they are really meshing well, and that's really good to see. They're all sitting together, they're all looking happy. So chemistry is going to be super good this year, and that's going to make us go to the NCAA tournament for the first time in like 11, 12 years. So very exciting stuff.
Yes, I agree. It's fun days ahead. It's not too far. We're less than 2 weeks away.
Monday, November 4th. Be there.
November 4th, be there. Yeah, last year I think the opener was on the same day as a soccer postseason game or something. I think I was in town for it, or I don't know, some basketball game. We went to soccer and then we ran over. It was craziness. So could be a busy time like it was last year, but those are good problems to have.
Exactly. Very good problems to have. So.
So we'll wrap the show up with football and volleyball obviously playing right now. Both of them probably had weeks that they would like back. I think tough weeks. Volleyball did play a top-ranked team in TCU their first game, so that one they played pretty well in their first couple of sets, and then the third set just got away from them. That was at home, but they got swept by TCU. And then that third set kind of carried over into Iowa State because their first set against Iowa State was pretty rough. And then they bounced back and they played a little bit better in the second and third set. But they're just trying to figure out their game day routine. I don't know, the road has not been kind to them in recent years in the Big 12, and they have 2 important road games this week that they're going to want to win against Cincinnati and West Virginia. Cincinnati on Thursday night, I think maybe 5 p.m. Central because it's on East Coast time. ESPN Plus. So hopefully they get to bounce back against Cincinnati and West Virginia this week. And then football, I'm not going to spend time recapping the Baylor game. I'm too happy about soccer doing the damn thing on Friday that I'm just not going there, y'all. There's 9 million podcasts that are venting about the game. It wasn't great. They need to be better. They know that. They're going to be better. It takes time. It takes time to build a program, and it takes time to build a culture that doesn't allow that to happen. Joey's going to get them there, but it takes time.
He will.
That was a blip. And the injuries keep piling up as well, which is concerning. But they're going to bounce back at TCU, and Texas Tech fans are going to take over that stadium as they always do in Fort Worth. That's the plan.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
That is the plan. Yeah, no. This game this Saturday is going to be very exciting for Tech football. Hopefully we can get the dub against TCU, and to add on to TCU Hate Week, we also need their soccer team to lose too to help us out.
That's true. Yeah,
Big 12 title hopes. So both soccer and football.
I can't really
TCU
get into
fans.
TCU Hate Week because I'm like so soccer focused, but I guess that's the way that we can spin it. Is I can get into TCU Hate Week because it kind of has to do with soccer as well. But yeah, at least we control a destiny that in the end, it doesn't necessarily matter what TCU does. If we win, we still get a share of the Big 12 title.
Right.
We can share it with them. That's fine. Whatever, if that's what it comes to. But hey, if they trip up, which is Oklahoma State's a good team, I'll be having both scores up and watching it. But yeah, so it's possible. But TCU is playing well right now. But never say never. Oklahoma State's a good team. We'll close it out with this. If we win our second straight, at least we won't have to worry about playing in Austin. That is true. Fun facts. If you do want to go to the Big 12 tournament for soccer, it is at the new fancy smancy soccer stadium up in Kansas City that Brittany Mahomes is the owner, and Patrick Mahomes, the owner of that NWSL team. So we have a little Texas Tech flavor going at the Big 12 tournament. It's no longer in Austin. It's up at the fancy NWSL stadium in Kansas City. So that's going to be fun for our team. Hopefully the weather won't be too chilly. But other than that, yes, we don't have to worry about playing a de facto home game against Texas. I guess you'll have sort of home games with Kansas and Kansas City or Kansas State, but it won't be at their stadium like we had to do last year. So.
Well, and their soccer teams, I mean, they're decent.
Kansas has been. We haven't played Kansas this year, but Kansas has been pretty solid this year. Kansas State has. I mean, they played us a pretty good game, but yeah. So we could match up with one of them, and they'll have fans in the stands. But I bet our usual convoy of family and friends will travel. They were up at Cincinnati in West Virginia. You could hear them in the background.
Yeah.
So
we'll host some Raider powers, and then we'll win the Big 12 tournament. We'll double it, you know.
Oh, this team is deep enough to make a run in the Big 12 tournament. I'm like, they're a little bit, the way we've been playing, they might be deeper than last year's team, and that's what you really need in the Big 12 tournament is depth, because you have to play every day, basically. I don't think you have a lot of time between. So anyway, we'll talk about that down the road. That'll be a next week thing, because this is the last regular season game on Friday. If you're still here and you haven't heard us say it 9 million times already, be there Friday, 7 p.m. Actually, get there at 6 p.m. like Tyler suggested. Get your free scarf, tailgate, beat the BYU fans to the stands, and get us a step. Wear black as well. Bring your dog if you want to. All the things.
Do it. It's going to be a fun game.
Big 12 champs next. Hopefully this time next week we are celebrating with Sibby back. Perhaps. It's been a bit. Hopefully she'll be back, and we'll be celebrating a Big 12 championship. So, see you guys. Reckham.